Whew. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing out there? Welcome to another episode of All Nicked Up, NBA Finals edition. NBA Finals Game 1 starts in about an hour and a half or so, probably a little later than that. But yes, we are here. It's been 27 years since we've been here, but we are here. Gonna be an awesome time gotta be an awesome time to be a Knicks fan. Gonna be an awesome series. Hopefully it's as quick as the other ones were. I don't think it will be, but hopefully the Knicks come out on top and win this series. Let me bring the guys in so we can get you all ready for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So guys, it's been 27 years, 27 long years that we have waited for the Knicks to be in the NBA Finals, and that time is here. My nerves have been crazy all day, all week actually. Every day that we got closer, I got more more and more nervous to this game tonight, Game 1. How do you guys feel? Just let's start there. How do you guys feel?
Oh, okay. He's gonna put it on me. All right. I'm ecstatic. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, what have we been waiting for? We've been waiting for this opportunity. We've talked about the lulls, obviously, the being in the dungeons. We've heard all the smack talk, all the degradation. We've heard about being a New York Knicks fan. The shameful needing to put a bag over our head and cut a couple holes out of it. Still might be able to identify you. Everybody was basically in hiding. I was in a place today, and someone said, actually, I was in the post office, and the guy asked me, he says, I'm wearing the mascot uniform, as I call it. So I got the mascot uniform on, and all of a sudden the guy says, hey, what do you think? Do you think they're going to do it? And I said, yeah. I said, I believe they will. I said, I think they can win this, not just being a homer. I just think basketball-wise, I feel that way. But one of the things he said was, he's like, by the way, I've not seen this much Nick apparel on people coming in randomly. And I'm like, well, let's keep it a buck. We're out of hiding. We've been in hiding for a long time. And now it's the time to show your face. If you're a Nick fan, be very proud of where you are, because, there's going to be a lot of skeptics. There's going to be a lot of smack talk, a lot of defeatists. Oh, you guys are preparing to lose, all that, et cetera, that comes with it. But look, when we were losing, they still were saying that crap. So it doesn't even matter. Right now, I feel like it's a great time to just be a Knicks fan. If you've been waiting for this for some people who've never seen it, 27 years is a lot. That's a lifetime for some of the fan base to have never seen the finals. Now you have a great shot at actually winning the damn thing. You might as well just believe that, because it's down to two teams. So it's not like you got to go through another team. It could be literally a coin flip, and this is a great time. You have a great team, a very competitive team. You have some experts that actually do predict that we could win this, and logically predict that we can win this, not like someone jumping out the window with a hot take. We're talking basketball here. The Knicks are a great basketball team right now. So I'm just waiting for it to get started, because it's been too damn long of a layoff. It's like, let's just get this thing rumbling and see what happens in Game 1 at least.
Yeah. I know I've been joking with you guys all day. I've been sending like different gifts of different nervous people scenes. The current one where he's going like this, all the weird ones. Yeah, I just want to get this thing going as well. Once it starts, I'll be fine, but the anticipation's killing me. Joe, what's up?
I'm feeling really good, man. I have to tell you, I feel great for the city. I feel great for the fans. But more specifically, I feel great for the three of us right now. I'm just thinking, like, I've been talking to you guys about this team online for like 16 years now.
Yeah.
And we've sat through some hardships and some rough seasons, and we are now on the precipice of potentially winning an NBA title, the thing that we've always wanted. So it feels special. I'm just feel ecstatic to be on here with the two of you guys right now talking about this. I'm very optimistic. I think in 1999, I didn't have all that much faith that they were going to win. Hopeful, of course. You root for your team.
Mm-hmm.
but I honestly think they have a legitimate shot against this team. Um, and it's exciting, man. I mean, it's just exciting when you are as passionate about a sport and a team as the three of us are. This is just, I don't want to put a Disney spin on it, man, but it's kind of a magical time.
Yeah.
I mean, you wake up feeling good and you're excited. And all I could think about all day was this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm just absolutely over the moon right now.
I even told everyone at work today, I said, just to remind everyone, because I work remotely and my company is based in Tennessee, so most of them are not, caring about this as much as I am, obviously. So I was like, just want to let you guys know the Knicks are in the NBA Finals start tonight. I'm like, I can't be held responsible for my moods over the next week and a half or so because I cannot tell you what it's going to be from a day-to-day basis. Um, it really is just a wild time. I honestly, when you think about it, I mean, when we think about the players they've had, you can believe it's been 27 years. But when you think about just the time that's passed in that time and things that like how we've all grown as people, and you think about your life, how different it is now as compared to then, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a really wild thing to think. Because in 1999, I don't think anyone thought it would take 27 years for us to get back here. I didn't think that anyway. But it has been. So you're right, Joe. To your point, it is an awesome, awesome time to be a Knicks fan. I want to enjoy this as much as I can, but man, I want to win so bad. Like we have to win this. Oh man,
For real.
it's weird. Like it took the other inhabitants of the Garden of the New York Rangers, and they won 54 years between Stanley Cup championships, right? So we're at 53 now. So let's kind of beat them to the punch and get this one. Because yeah, it would be an awesome, awesome feeling. I don't know if New York will be around after if the Knicks win,
Whoa.
but
It looked like that show Fallout.
But aren't they remaking the movie?
Yes. I was just going to bring that up. Zack Snyder has been tasked with doing the remake of Escape from New York.
People New York, man.
But it might be a week and a half from now.
It's gonna be something else, man.
Man, it's gonna be awesome. So, all right, so let's get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts. We don't have a lot, obviously, to go over. We're just gonna do a preview, game one preview. We'll put out our thoughts on the game, what we expect. All right, so I'll start with this question. When the Knicks had the layoff against the Cavs, obviously, historically, they went down 22 and they had that great comeback in game one. Do you guys expect a similar bit of rust for this, or what do you expect in this game from that point of view, the long layoff, how it's going to impact them for game one of the finals?
I'm expecting rust tonight, to be honest with you. These are long layoffs for a playoff team. I think the layoff will benefit them in the long run. But I think on the opposite side of that, there's also kind of a little bit of a emotional letdown, I think, on the Spurs side after going 7 games with the defending champs. So hopefully those two things are kind of working their way through the sauce and counteracting each other a little bit. But I definitely expect rust. I mean, we saw it in the first game in Cleveland, but they managed to flip the switch, granted on an inferior opponent. I mean, let's just be real about that. But I am optimistic on tonight. I think it's going to take a little while for them to get into their flow. But if they can maintain the flow that they've played with, I'm pretty confident, man.
Ty, what about you?
I think it's going to be different. I think Cleveland was a wake-up call. I think they are very well aware that the rust can always be a factor, but I think their effort is going to be way different tonight than it was. Perhaps they do miss shots, obviously. That's part of the rhythm of the game. Obviously, that could happen and occur. But I think you'll find that the Knicks are going to have a hellified effort coming out of the gates. I think that's what you're going to see. I think it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to say they're going to come out and just completely spank them, but I think they have also the consciousness about, because I heard Carl Anthony Towns spoke about this during one of the pressers. He spoke about how they did something different than what they did the last time. It's coming off of a long layoff. This team we have a bunch of highly intelligent guys. I always tell people, even if you look at Josh Hart, you think he's goofy, he's got a high intelligence for basketball. These guys are the pros pro. And I do believe, I don't know if you can't simulate the game, obviously, because that's a little bit different in game action, but I do think you'll see a different effort and approach with them being conscious that they can't fall behind as they did in which they started off fantastic versus Cleveland. They had a horrible start. It was really the middle of the cookie that became an issue. They got soft towards the second quarter, and then Cleveland goes on a run, and you pretty much think it's night-night because we didn't think the Knicks can claw their way out. But the one thing we've noticed about this team, and it's indicative of Jalen Brunson, of who he is, first and foremost, you can't say these guys are ever dead. Like, they play to win. They're not playing to lay down or just give up. Right. It's like you're in a friggin' game 7 with these guys every time you play them. And that, to me, is how they've approached this whole postseason. Once the Atlanta spell, once they stop eating wings in Magic City or whatever the hell, we don't know what the hell started the comeback in Atlanta, but we do know that whatever it was that happened in the locker room or whatever, these guys have treated every game like a game 7. So I'm thinking outside of the first game, because we're talking about the rust, obviously. I just think they're going to play with a lot more desperation in this game. I just don't think that they're going to come in and go through the motions of waiting until they get started. I think they're going to force their way into trying to put somebody to the physicality. The thing you can always control is your effort and your defense. I think you'll start to see those things kind of come out and play earlier than what happened in Cleveland. Because I think Cleveland, they knew they can outscore them, and I think they depended too much on the scoring aspect. And then when their legs got shot or their rhythm went off, they didn't rely on the thing that was really getting them there. Because I always say the most underrated thing about this Knicks team is the defense. Nobody's talking about the defense. Everybody's talking about the offense because it's been spectacular and obviously an anomaly that has never happened in the league before, which is fantastic. But make no doubt about it, the defense. And I think that's what wins this series. I think it's coming down to how you guard these guys, especially Wembanyama. And I think you'll see a defensive effort come out from the Knicks, from everybody who's all hands on deck with that approach. I think that's what you'll see, whether the offense is sputtering or whatever. The defense, I don't think you'll see sputter.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think it'll be a little different because they went through that experience, right? They had that experience against Cleveland, and they're guarding against it as much as they can. I also think playing on the road increases your focus because at home you might in the back of your mind be like, yeah, we're home. Yeah. We have the fans. And I was at the game, so I can say we did, when they started that comeback, that place got louder and louder. And I definitely think it had an impact on the Cavs. So, they don't have that to fall back on. I'll go, yes, Knicks fans do travel, we know. And I've seen many Instagram reel of fans who actually flew to San Antonio for the game. So I know we're going to have a good representation there, but it will not obviously be Madison Square Garden. So, I think the Knicks will be a little more focused for this game tonight than they were maybe against game 1 against the Cavs. But to Joe's point, it is still a long layoff. I do expect there to be some rust. They may not look as sharp. But Ty, to your point as well, the defense can hold them, right? The defense could be one thing they can hang their heads on and anchor them in. So I'm definitely looking for a good game 1, but I do think there will be a little bit of rust. So I asked this question in the group chat today, and we got different answers. So then I was reading ESPN.com, and they actually did this breakdown for me. So, so I asked the guys in the chat today in our group chat, I said, who do you think has the best player in the series? Ty, you said you believe Towns and Brunson are the 2 best players, and then Wembanyama's 3rd. Joe said Wemby. I believe it's Wemby, mostly because of he's so great on the defensive side of the ball that his impact there is like nobody else is in the league. So
he's a 2-way
offensively, offensively, I agree. And I think it might be tough for him in this series than it has been. The Knicks obviously have Cat. They also have Mitch is playing, so they have him to throw at Wemby. We know historically OG has done a great job against him, and he's statistically the best defender against him. So we have that as well. We have those three options. But Ty, I want you to explain your thought process behind Brunson and Cat being, your opinion, being the two best players in the series.
Okay, before everybody come after me, I'm like, oh, hope your W is like you're the Wu-Tang. I understand. He's the thing. He's a great talent. We know we get the marquee. We know who the guy is in this series. The guy in this series is Wembanyama. We've heard the hype train from ESPN and from the NBA. You know, they're marketing this guy, and it's well deserved. It's not like I'm saying that he's a default talent. He's absolutely superb. He's only going to get better, which should be very scary for the rest of the league. So I'm going to toot his horn on that. We're talking playoff basketball. We're talking about the NBA Finals. And I liken it back to a little bit like, and I was thinking today when we're calling teams that are in a similar situation like what we see with the New York Knicks, and versus a very young upstart team with a great talent. And I thought back to the Orlando Magic, the year Penny and Shaq went to the finals versus Houston.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
And when you look at the dynamic of those two guys, you're like, wow, they're going to kick somebody's ass. And then Houston got the memo. And it's like,
Swept their asses.
You ain't kicking nobody's ass this year. Come back in a couple more years, maybe. And look at Wembanyama. Before Wembanyama, there was a guy named Shaquille O'Neal. I know everybody thinks he's a big joke and wears funny suits on during the post games. He mumbles. We get all the goofiness about Shaq. But Shaq, when he was rookie to 3 years, Shaq was way more athletic than Wemby, way in better shape than Wemby, way stronger than Wemby, could dribble it down the court. He had all of what you see from Wembanyama outside of being not as tall, but he was a damn force. He was an anomaly. I mean, when you look at him, he had the pass, and he could pass better than Wemby. I think it's forgotten because we tend to throw it into the YouTube archives and make it all about dunks and breaking backboards. But there was nobody more talented back then than Shaquille O'Neal. And who's the next guy next to him? One of the most phenomenal point guards I've ever seen, and Penny Hardaway, who I thought was top notch. I thought it was Pippen, Jordan, Penny. That's the way I look at it. I know people might say Grant Hill, but Penny was that damn dude. And I'm not talking little Penny. He was just the little mouthpiece. They used the Flavor Flav for Penny Hardaway. But I'm talking about talent-wise. When you saw those two guys, they'd beaten Jordan to go into the finals. So that was Michael Jordan coming out of retirement. We look at those and say, wow, who the hell is going to handle all of that talent? These guys are young and upstart. They beat the Bulls, I think, in 5 or 6 or whatever. I think it was 6. You come out, you're like, well, Houston's got their hands full. Houston was filled with a lot of veterans, and they had that guy named Hakeem Olajuwon, who was a bad boy. Check him out. When I look at this, we're getting back to when you asked me about who are the best. We're talking about the playoffs here. I'm not talking about you're going to do a poll in NBA who you're going to take. Wembanyama. It's easy to take him. But we're talking about winning a 7-game series. I'm asking who's the best player. And in this particular time, why pick Karl-Anthony Towns? Because there's nothing Wemby can do that Karl can't do other than run faster. Because when Karl-Anthony Towns is motivated, he can throw up 30, 12, 5, 2, and get a steal here and there. That's Wemby's numbers. Those are the same numbers. And albeit the Knicks are not playing the kind of game where you're basically highlighting one player, we're talking about who becomes unguardable on the other team. Because if Wembanyama goes out at any point, I don't know who the hell's guarding Karl-Anthony Towns. Mm-hmm. Anybody know? You know who's going to guard him? I don't know who's going to guard him. So we have. Who's that?
I said that's a good call out.
Yeah, who the hell's guarding him? We know that OG Anunoby, we know that Mitchell Robinson, we know that Karl-Anthony Towns can bother Wembanyama. That's been proven. And he still gets 30. Don't get me wrong. It's not like his numbers are garbage. I'm saying it's a tough 30 to get. There's no player in the league, in my opinion, that gets easier 30 points than Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't care how much you don't like him. When he's lit, he can get 30 and look like he didn't break a sweat. So when you've got that kind of talent, that outlier talent of a guy who's capable and motivated to do the same thing as the special player on the other team and do it easier, he can do it just as easier. It's definitely the scoring aspect. I mean, if you get him hot, I've seen Carlton Towns light up 60-something points. It's not like this guy's some joke. So when we're asking about being in a playoff situation, you're saying two guys that can carry their team to victory at any point. To me, that's Carlton Towns and that's Jalen Brunson. So we're talking about who are the best players in this series. I'm not talking about best player overall. To me, it's those two guys because I said it before on prior episodes of this podcast. The Knicks got two nuclear weapons that nobody else has in the NBA. You think about having two players that could be possible players that can carry a team. The Knicks got two. They don't got one. Wembanyama right now is one. He can carry his team, but you don't see I don't know who the second guy is. I know there can be a variable change that you can throw in. It might be a Castle one day. It might be a Devin Vassell one day. On and on. There could be these guys that can that can come in and give you great minutes or great moments. But we're talking about if you sit one of those guys, if you sit Wembanyama, is there another guy who's going to get you 35? And the Knicks got two guys that can get you 30 any night. So when we're talking about the pecking order, I think what ESPN had it, Wemby, Brunson, and Carl. I mean, not that you still got two of the top three in the series. So
sure.
But we're talking about what I thought was the better player in this situation. And I think Carlton Towns motivated and engaged is a very tough cover for anybody. He will destroy San Antonio if he plays the kind of game we know he's capable of playing. Because Cornette's not guarding him. I'm just thinking, like, who's going to guard?
That guy, though, he's the Knick killer.
Yeah, he is. He's mad. That's for John. That's why he's. That's a John Cicerani. He's like, oh, you don't think I can play? He got a John Voodoo doll in his lockout. He just comes out and. I mean, the Knicks probably should have kept him. He did great for Boston also. I just think Carlton Towns, when I think about him as a talent, I don't think there's nobody in the league as talented as he is. Wembanyama's just taller and more athletic. When we're talking about talent-wise, Carlton Towns can throw some serious numbers and do some serious damage on defense. And he's been playing a lot better. Once again, we talk about defense. Yes. Who's been the better defender? Carlton Towns has been a better defender. The weak link now is really Jalen Brunson. He's the cog that, and not for a lack of effort. It's just he is the weak link on defense. And you would have never thought that. You would have easily said Carl and Jalen. But I think Carl has kind of pushed himself away from that conversation, and he's engaged. He's been playing excellent defense, and the numbers are showing it. But that was my reason for mentioning those two guys. I have Brunson, have Carl at one, by the way, for everyone who wants to know.
You did. Yes,
Carl
you did.
was the best. I said Brunson the second best, and I said Wembanyama third. Like I said, that's not a slight against Wemby at all. It's just in this matchup, in this series, can Wembanyama become a guy who kills both of those guys? And that's really what you're asking. One talent to be better than two terrific talents. And I just don't think in this series I'd give it to Carlton Towns if we got an asterisk, if he plays and he's engaged. I just think that I don't think you can match up with him in that way.
Yeah, he has been locked in for the playoffs, especially since Game 3 against Game 5? Sorry, Game 5 against the Hawks. When the Knicks decided to make that shift, or was it Game 4? I forget. When the Knicks decided to make the shift and run the offense through him, it's opened everyone else up offensively, and he has also been more engaged defensively. I think it took away the thinking for him, like, oh, I have to get 25 every night for me to be an impact player on this team. I think it just completely removed that. So I agree with you. Right now, if you're looking at a 3-level player, Carl is more of that than Wemby is, definitely. He can shoot from the outside. He could play in mid-range. He could play in the post. Wemby's not posting anyone up. Not at this stage. He's just too small and skinny, and it's really just not his game. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the next, let's just go down the list. After those three guys, ESPN has Stephon Castle next. OG Anunoby is 5th. then De'Aaron Fox, then Mikal Bridges. So I'm just kind of keeping with the starters now. Devin Vassell was 8, Dylan Harper 9th. They had Julian Champagnie 10th over Josh Hart, and I thought that was an interesting call. Joe, what do you think of that distinction that they made?
As far as Hart specifically?
Yeah.
I think Champagne is a better 3-point shooter and better offensively, but if you start looking at all the intangibles that Hart brings to the table, I don't see that in his game. Granted, I've only watched maybe 3-4 Spurs games this year, but never underestimate Josh Hart. Just in the ordering, I did have Wemby first, but second, third, and fourth, I had Knicks. I actually had OG Anunoby ahead of Castle there. Now, granted, very comparable numbers, but I think that, I don't know. I think an argument can be made either way. So maybe I'm a little bit of a home person there. But yeah, don't underestimate Josh Hart, especially in a series like this. I mean, this guy has championship DNA. Granted, on the college level, but he knows what it takes to win these kind of games. And if you look at the flaws of the San Antonio Spurs team, it is inexperience, it is youth, it is all of those things. You're putting him ahead of somebody that is a proven winner. I mean, a proven winner. And look at the difference he made on this team just coming here. You know, he was one of those transformative signings that changed the DNA of this team. I would put Josh Hart higher on that list, personally. I think, again, I won't back off the Wemby thing because I think he does it on both ends. And I understand what you're saying, Ty. I agree 100% with a lot of what you're saying. But I think beyond Wemby, you don't have the type of player that our number 2 is, or potentially even our number 3, yes, there's probably a comparable part of that. But I think the ace in our sleeve is our number 2 player, personally. That's just my take.
Who do you, Joe, think is who do you think their second best player is? I'm just saying, like, if you have, me and Eric talked about this before in private, but who do you think is their second best player? Like, if you, I know who's talented. I'm not talking, I'm just saying, like, you had to say that dude when Wemby's out the game is the dude. Who do you think that is in your opinion?
Probably Stefan Castle, I would imagine. I mean, he's going to be impacting the game. We'll see how he defends Brunson and if he is potentially a Brunson stopper. Because it's not just about offense and who can light up the scoreboard. It's also who can get the other team out of their comfort zone. He's also averaging, I think, in the playoffs, a biscuit under 20 points a game. He can put the ball in the hole. He's got a nice all-around game. I just would personally keep him lower on that list than what they had due to the inexperience and the youth and all of those things. Great defender. But, yeah, I would say he's probably the second best. Although Devin Vassell can explode on any given day. I've seen him put up some big numbers. Granted, sporadically, but he has that capability too. De'Aaron Fox. I mean, there's a lot of people that wind up kind of muddled together here. Yeah, I mean, De'Aaron Fox is a former Clutch Player of the Year. I mean, he's an outstanding player. I always thought that roster construction was strange considering how many point guards they have. But anyway,
yeah,
there are people on that team that can play. But I think they're all kind of – I don't think Castle is a head and shoulders above all of those other players. I think we're going to see different players during the series wind up in that number 2 spot. I don't think it's really going to be cut and dry that somebody's clearly their second best player. I think on a game basis, you will see people rise and fall depending on how the game goes.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good take. I agree.
I do too. Yeah, that was kind of what we were talking about last night. I said dynamic players, right? I always say this is one of the things I say, like certain guys are dynamic players. Castle is a dynamic player. Like he's got ridiculous hops. He can attack the basket. He's not afraid of the moment. He's a dynamic player. Now he's also very young. So again, to both your points, the youth is one of the experience the Knicks have, not only in playoff games, but just in big moments as overall as players. I think obviously is going to be a huge factor here in this series because they just have an older team and these guys have seen more. So I think that's going to play a role. healthy, if everyone's healthy, to me, Fox would be I would say without a doubt, Fox is their second best player.
Yep.
If everyone's healthy, but he's not. He's been nursing an ankle injury. He was nursing in the Western Conference Finals. I know everyone's they're saying like, oh, no one's on the injury report. Give me a break. If it was enough for him to miss 2 games in the conference finals, I doubt he's 100% healthy now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to see how that works. But I agree with you, Joe. Like, I don't know who's going to be every night their second scorer, and that's kind of worrisome to me.
It is.
Because you don't know where to put that focus on.
I agree with that completely.
However, we have seen the best of Mikal Bridges' defense in the playoffs, and we have seen the best of OG Anunoby's defense in the playoffs. So if we get those types of performances from them in the finals, I'm less concerned about it. But it is a scary proposition that you can have a Champagnie, like in Game 7, come in and do something like that. He's a New York kid. He went to St. John's. He's already said he wants to, be the reason that the Knicks don't win the title. So, I mean, you have that already out there. It's a very interesting dynamic. There's a lot of stories within this final series. The whole Mike Brown angle as well. It's funny, we had it with Cleveland. There's also he has ties to San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So that's another story within this series. As far as surprise players, Champagnie would probably be that for San Antonio. But who on the Knicks last series was Shamet? Who are you looking at this series to be that guy, that surprise player for the Knicks?
Deuce McBride.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw that out there. No explanation.
All right.
I think Jordan Clarkson is the dude that I would watch out for. He came up big in the in the cup. I think he got forgotten, obviously. But I think he's the type of big guard that can come in and do a lot of stuff for the Knicks also. Definitely on defense when he's engaged. He's been a guy who's willing to pick you up full court. He can score. He can play make. If it's the good version of Jordan Clarkson, I think that he can have a hell of an impact. I don't think it's going to come from the smaller guards. I think that's going to be a little bit of a concern, like the Alvarados, the Deuce McBrides. I'm a little concerned about the height of them coming in the game. They definitely would have to be locked and loaded to shoot and nail their shots early. If they got to create off the dribble, I think that's a nightmare. I wouldn't want to see it. But I think a guy like Jordan Clarkson, he's a big guy. Like, he's a big, tall guard and capable. He's 6th man of the year. It's not like he's a joke. It's just more so if you can get him to kind of hone in his game, I think he can give you great minutes and be a surprise factor bench. That'd be my guy who I'd pick.
I'm going to go with the hometown kid. I'm going to go with Alvarado. I do think this means something to him, being a guy from Brooklyn, playing for the Knicks in the finals. They haven't won, as we know, since 1973. I think he has a little bit more blood in the ground with this team than probably any of our players. He hasn't been a huge part of the rotation, but I have a feeling he's going to get minutes in this series. And whether it's defensively or hitting some threes, I don't know, but I can definitely see him being that guy. He's already a high energy type of player, so I expect that always from him. And I haven't been his biggest fan. I'll admit it. I have not been his biggest fan.
This is huge. You're saying this, and I was like, "Damn!"
But just because of all,
at the same time, no damn sense.
Yeah, but just because of all of that, like I said, the hometown guy, he's the New Yorker on this squad. Towns, yes, is also, he's from New Jersey, but Alvarado is a New Yorker. That's the guy I look at it when I look at the Knicks bench. I would love for it to be like Kolek, because he had such a big moment in the NBA Cup. Like, he was huge in the NBA Cup win for them. So I'd love for him to come in after barely playing all of the playoffs, coming in and doing it to them again. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't see it. I know Alvarado's going to get minutes, though, so I can see him having some big moments, steals, more defensively, triggering runs, things like that. So he had a big hand in their run against Cleveland in Game 1. So I do think we're going to see something similar happen here. So just wanted to do that because we always know who the guys are going to be, like the stars are going to be. So there's always one guy in every final or championship game who stands out, who no one expects. So on the Spurs, we said Champagny. It's weird that on this list they have Keldon Johnson kind of low for me. I'm like, the guy was the 6th man of the year this year, so why is he so low on the list? He's their longest tenured player out of their core guys. He was their star player for a few years before they got Wemby and Fox and everybody. So I'm sure this means a lot to him because he was here when they weren't good, right? He was here when the Spurs weren't that good a team. So he's the other guy I would look for maybe a big series from. All right. So let's see. Where do I want to go next? I have a couple of topics here. Huh?
Are we not going to the thing?
What?
Are we not going to thing?
What thing?
Thing.
Go ahead. Run with it then.
The hand that rocks the cradle, Mitchell Robinson. Are we not going to the hand? Are we not talking about the hand with the 5 fingers in the face? Or a punch? I
mean, what is there to say though? He's playing.
Like he's coming in too. Nobody mentioned the hand that rocks the cradle. We're talking about Robinson. Like, what do you feel like his impact is going to be with this? What we're getting told is a whole different story. It wasn't basketball related, which I was like, I thought it wasn't anyway. It was like no big shock. The social media cancellation. I mean, it just seemed like there was a situation, right, let's say it that way, that took place that, not that I need to know anything about it, but you didn't break it. I mean, come on. We're Knicks fans. We watched Amari, beat up a fire extinguisher. We knew the drill as soon as they said it wasn't basketball related. We kind of assumed either you were fixing an engine and you broke your finger or you engined and hit somebody. So you punched something. I don't know what it is, but what do you think his impact is going to be? Do you think it's going to be limited, being that we have this hand issue? I personally don't. But, what do you think his impact is going to be coming off the bench and coming into this game? Because clearly we know he's coming in for one reason and one reason only, and that's to guard Wembanyama and to kind of touch him up. That's really what it's coming into.
Set screens.
Mm-hmm.
That could be, yeah. I guess I really need to wait and see how he plays tonight because I don't know what to expect. Honestly, I don't know what to expect. I don't know. Like, they showed the picture of him working out yesterday. He looked fine. He looked like anything was bothering him. He was dribbling the ball. Now they did show a couple of attacks to the basket where he didn't really dunk and he just kind of dropped it in. So maybe we'll see less dunks and more like guiding the ball into the basket. I don't know. But I need to see him play first. If he plays and he shows like no ill effects from the injury, then to me, he vaults right up to the top, obviously, to the point you bring up, to defend Wemby. I mean, that's what they need him for. So, yeah, he vaults right to the top. Joe, do you have any different take? You're the medical person here. Do you think,
It's on the shooting hand, correct?
Yeah, it's his right hand, I think.
Cool.
Maybe he'll start hitting free throws.
Well,
that's actually a possibility.
I know.
It changes his form slightly and he starts hitting free throws. I agree with both of you in that I don't think it's going to affect him that much with what they need him to do. He's never really been a high point of the offense, and if you can dunk an alley-oop, you can also do that differently too. But I also agree with you, Eric. I need to see him play first. I need to see how, and honestly, what tactics the Spurs are going to use with him. Are they just going to send him to the line? And there's good and bad with that. Yes, we'll get into the bonus earlier and stuff like that, and that'll help us towards the end of the halves and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I know we need him. I know we absolutely need him. And I mean, this is crunch time in the most obvious of ways. And you go out, I don't care, you pull a Ronnie Lott and you cut the thing off if you have to. You know what I mean? This is it. So if I had to make a bet right now, I would say maybe marginally less impactful, but still doing what we need him to do. I danced around that enough. I hope that was an answer.
Good.
No, I mean that's a good read actually, because I think we're all kind of, yes, he's playing, so that's great, but we're all kind of just waiting like, okay, how effective is he going to be? Because it's a pain tolerance thing. That's really what it comes down to. It's a pain tolerance thing. Like, he does a lot of dribble handoffs. Is that going to be a place where it bothers him? Like, there's a lot of things that he does setting screens. Joe's point, like you set screens, yes, you have to use your hands a little bit to do that. So,
and that's a great way to target that hand coming through that screen.
Right. So there's a lot of nuance to what he does and what the Spurs might do to get at that. And like, everyone might complain like, oh, why would you do that? Well, that's just part of the game, right? Like, that's part of, you go after your team's weaknesses.
Sorry.
If it's a physical weakness, you attack it. That's just part of sports. Every sport, that's part of sports. So I'm just kind of waiting. I'm just kind of waiting to see. Hopefully tonight, I mean, if he plays well and he's got a big impact on the game and he gets through the game, not injury free, but like pain free. Great. Maybe it isn't as bad as they're saying, and and this is all totally gamesmanship. Who knows? I don't know.
I just hope for him that it doesn't affect him in his end game, and I mean, we want the Knicks to win, but man, let me just tell you, do I need to tell you? If the Knicks have a problem and they know that he didn't injure that in a game, and he comes out and he sucks, I'm going to tell you, get the bus, because he will never, ever, ever be allowed back in New York. Because this is for everything right now. Like when we were asking about whether he was going to play, Eric, I told you, I said his ass better play.
I know.
I mean, he better get on the bus. Like, he can't afford to, because now knowing when the Knicks did him no favors by saying that was no basketball related injury. So,
I was going to ask about that specifically. What did you guys think of them saying that this did not happen in practice, didn't happen in the game? Like, they explicitly said that. And of course, Mike Brown's the one on the chopping block saying it, but they specifically made a point to tell us all that. I would pray that it's not contract related. I really would.
Well, why the hell it ain't?
Exactly. No, I hear you.
Exactly that.
He did.
And I just don't think yes, it is stupid, but I don't think you negotiate in public. And if they're doing this just to say, well, like to your point, well, if he plays like crap, it wasn't our fault. He didn't injure it in the game, in practice or in the game. I just don't think that's setting up goodwill with the player either. That's just my take on it. That's all.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I just think that the Knicks don't share anything.
Correct. That's the other thing.
They don't share anything. It's like when we heard about the injury, I'm like, well, Eric, I think first brought it up, said, wow, they leaked that information. And it's like, well, they never tell you. And, OG could be like dead in the corner. They'd be like, he's starting next week. Just hold on. Resuscitation machine. They're not going to tell you a damn thing about what's wrong with the New York Knicks player. So them letting the cat out the proverbial bag, I mean, I think that it was almost like, in a sense, maybe punishing Mitch. Like, it was almost like, because Mitch, I don't know if people follow Mitch, because Eric knows I told him about the social media. He loves some drama. He loves a lot of drama. And maybe he's been talked about. Maybe they told him about this, because I know one person don't want to have any drama in New York via media or whatever, and that's James Dolan. Right. So does this seem like a Dolan like saying, oh, you want an extension? I'm going to extend this gossip about you to the rest of the day. And watch how that works in your negotiation, because now your value is going to be lower.
Of course.
market, because now teams are going to say, well, can he be trusted? You know, I mean, the trust, it's a strategy involved in this because Mitch is looking for a huge payday. And they probably said, hey, you know what? You want all this money. You're shooting 30% from free throw range, and you want to break your hand now. You know, eat this. Yeah. And they said, hold this L. And I think it was strategic, you know, because we don't know behind the scenes what type of negotiations are going and whether they faltered or maybe somebody values themselves to be more than what they are. And I think Mitch is not taken away. We know Mitch is giving and provides a special talent to the Knicks. But as I asked John the other day, I said, do you chase Ihart? He's a free agent because it looks like OKC is going to cut him. You know, that's some damn leverage on behalf of the Knicks. Yeah. If they do decide to say we're going in a different direction, because we know that it's going to come down to two players, Deuce McBride or Mitchell Robinson. That's going to be the decision over the summer. And the only way you can really keep both is if somebody takes a huge pay cut. Yeah. And this, to me, sounds like strategies that tell Mitch, you know that guy, Jalen Brunson? Took $100 million discount. You need to go visit the account because you might not be worth what you think you were.
I will say this though, and it feels like poetic justice in a way that, like, McBride's coming up for a contract and he got hurt and missed a big chunk of time. Now Mitch is coming up for a contract and he does something stupid that hurts himself. So it's, you know, like, you look at it from that point of view, you're like, the Knicks have more leverage now because of these two situations that happened. One, all the players doing, the other one just from, you know, being an athlete and getting hurt. Athletes get hurt. It's part of the job. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with both of them, though. I agree. And this definitely does not help him at all. And Ty, because you're right. The Knicks don't let anything out about injuries ever. And they were like, yep, it wasn't us.
Was it?
Like,
it was him. It was the guy with the big truck. That's who it was. I mean, I thought it was kind of crazy. And then now you're hearing Wendy Windhorst coming out saying, you know, oh, he went all medical. He didn't even like just go. He's like, oh, let me tell you how this could occur. Do you think somebody didn't leak all that crap? Come on. He's like, oh, it's called a puncher's hand, boys and girls. He just went all medical and like, wow, Mr. Rogers is coming to town. He's telling all of you to let everybody know, boys and girls, this is what really happened.
But if you believe the story, he had to have done it before Game 4. He had to have done it before the game he played because they're saying it didn't happen there. So unless it happened in some kind of weird situation, because we found out about it the next day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he had to have played with, and there was a point during the game, I remember he was holding his hand, doing stuff with his hand. So he had to have done it before then. So they knew, they had to have known, unless he didn't tell them. Maybe that's the other reason why they were like, yeah, we didn't do it, because he didn't tell them.
See, now you cooking with oil there. That the loyalty thing with James Dolan, in case nobody got the memo, that dude is extremely loyal to players, but he will turn. Yeah, I mean, no pun intended, but you can be the black sheep overnight. So, I mean, Mitch, you fit the color. He definitely ain't you're a black dude. I mean, we're just going to say you're getting blackballed right now because it probably was the fact that he's sitting there and they see him playing, you know, sore, something's wrong. And they ask, when did this occur? Because they know it didn't occur in the game. So he probably had to come and be usher, and these are my confessions. He told everything that really happened. And it's weird because his personal posts, you saw him like he's with Alvarado. With Jordan Clarkson. You didn't see a +1 with any other Nick. It was maybe Jordan Clarkson said, hey, come here, let me give you a hug. And he highlighted him, but man, I think everybody who's in that locker room know what they're playing for. And I find it very hard that they are not looking at him strange, saying, you want to do this now of all times? You know, when everything's at stake, you're one of the most important cards in the wheel right now, going against somebody who's a freak athlete that we need height for. And clearly you've done a great job of playing against them along with, by committee with OG, with Towns also. People didn't give Towns enough credit. Towns played him very well physically. And Mitch is there for that one reason. You brought him in and kept him along for these reasons here. He can't perform, I'm telling you. That dude is gone. I don't think he's going to be in the Knicks uniform because he's going to ask for $2 and some Jolly Ranchers because that's all his ass is going to get. He's not getting nothing.
It would be sad if they moved on from him. I'm a fan.
Me too. Me too. I don't want them to. But I also think about I was a fan of Amari Stoudemire too.
Yeah.
But you go punch
It
your
would hurt not seeing Mitch and Nick.
It would.
That would sting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It would.
Look, with that free throw percentage and a broke hand, he probably would be
Well, that was before the broken hand, right? So
I mean, the one thing you couldn't do is give me a hand, Mitch. Because let's just tell it what it is.
Jesus.
Maybe it was the article you sent, and they showed his shooting percentage. I'm like, 30%. 30%. I mean, who you got?
Like, you gonna highlight that? All right, so I'm gonna bring up one more guy because he knows a little bit about the Spurs. So I'm talking about Sohan. I think signed Jeremy Sohan, right?
Yeah.
During the season, hasn't played much. I think a lot of people thought he'd come in for defensive purposes sometimes. Really hasn't played much. What do you think his role could be in this series? Joe, do you think he has any role?
Informant.
It
depends who gets in foul trouble. I don't see him as a rotation player right now, and that's obviously the way things have panned out in the thing. But
right.
Teams do this all the time in football.
Yes.
Take somebody from the practice squad. Tell me about the offense. Here's your check. That kind of thing. So I think Sohan may have an axe to grind because he didn't feel necessarily wanted there.
Right.
I mean, they did right by him. They let him go.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The Spurs are a classy organization. They did that. But the fact that they let him go and didn't consider him to be a building block at his age may be something that's not sticking in well with him. So he may have an incentive to kind of help move this thing along and stick the knife in. So I think informant.
Informant. I love it. That's great. Ty, do you think he might get some minutes against Wemby? Like they just say, you know what? We're putting you in just to guard him. Go ahead, do you think?
I do think so because of what we just talked about, Mitchell Robinson. I think being that he has the hand issue and Sohan is also a physical player.
He is.
He's going to match that energy. There's not. I mean, he matched the energy, and he was on the bench when he went over to Atlanta and broke up their huddle, and he got in a scuffle. And dude, you're a bench player, and he was like just talking smack, and just he's obviously a little wired up. He's got a little Michael Beasley in him. It looks like just an off-filtered guy who's just going to just start some mess. It just looks like that, and I'm more than sure if Mitchell Robinson labors at some point, because the belief was that Sohan could play the 5, a small ball 5.
Yeah.
I think if any Nick kind of shows a little soft tendencies, I think you'll see Sohan get some spare minutes there where, clearly he knows what they're trying to do. It's not like, as long as he can play under control while being physical, I think you could see him get spare minutes. I'm not saying he's going to get like 20 minutes, but I think you could see him in spots where Mike Brown may put him in there just to know, maybe to mess with Wemby, maybe to play a head game with some of these players, just to maybe get somebody in foul trouble or frustrate somebody like Wemby, because according to him, which I do believe is to be true, Wemby does not like to play the case song. Eric knows that. Touch me, tease me, he don't like being touched up. So he definitely, the physicality, and I think that's why if I'm giving the Knicks an edge, is because to me he's proven even in the OKC game that if you are able to physically get on him, to put the weight on him, to make him have to work and grind for it, he gets exhausted in the games that follow. That was when I said he's got to work on his conditioning. I said that before even playing against the Knicks.
He does.
Because there's some games where we saw game 1 of OKC. he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Came out game 2 and it's like, dude needed an oxygen tank. You could just see he was wounded, and physically he just wasn't there. So it seems to be every other game. If it's a physical game, we saw iHeart clearly mess him up. Like he wasn't ready for all that smoke. Yeah, I think Sohan could be used just to body him, just to give him some physicality. Maybe throw a cheap shot. You never know with these guys. He might just want to see, well, how tough you are. Well, Timberwolves had him frustrated also.
Yes.
That's where the retaliation elbow came from, was because they're like, okay, we're going to mix it. We're going to martial art you right now. We're going to make it very tough for you to actually do what you want to do. Because, let's just keep it a buck. Do you really let a skinny-ass dude keep going and dribbling full court? And he's going to go into – what kind of crap is that? I don't care how talented he is. You got to put him either on his ass or make him think twice, or at least play for the strip on the ball. Like, I watched some of these guys and how they play, and it's like, why would you allow him to put the ball on the ground?
Yeah.
You should be meeting him as soon as that ball hits the floor. You should be crowding that shot, crowding near his legs and saying, you're not getting that. You're not getting – you're going to have to shoot always over me. You have to catch and shoot as opposed to I'm giving you 4 dribbles. Are you crazy?
That's where I was going to go. When his 3-point shot is falling, he's really, really hard to stop.
Yeah.
But if he's not hitting and he's trying to drive, you can stop him that way. So, like he is definitely the modern day big man, right? He's like the epitome of it. He's a lot taller than most of them, but he's a modern day big man. Like, he likes to be on the perimeter. He likes to shoot threes. Definitely a defensive presence. He's kind of KP with a handle. If you want to look at it that way, that's what he's kind of like, how KP was when he got here. Because Victor does have a good handle for a guy his size. It's amazing watching the ball sometimes. I'm like, wow. But the Knicks can't get caught up in that. And I hope they're guarding against that. They can't get caught up in, I don't think they will. This team is too much of too veteran of a team, but get caught up in watching the spectacle of him because of how great his talent is. You don't want to get caught in that kind of a thing. But yeah, it's going to be how they defend him is one of the stories in this that I'm really looking forward to. Like, as a basketball fan, I want to see what they devise to do. Because obviously they've played him already and they've had success against them, but adjust, right? Players adjust, teams adjust. We're going to try something different. So it's going to be interesting to see that. So one last thing on the head coaches. Mike Brown, obviously, famously, like I said, coached the Spurs. He's coached the finals. All the experience he has, and let's be honest, he was hired for this moment, right? They're in the final. So he was hired for this moment. Mitch Johnson is like, we're early. Like, we're early to the party. No one expected it this year. Now here we are. But you're in the finals. So it's pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So who has more pressure?
That's a very good one. Who has more pressure? Yeah. Well, I think probably Mike Brown. He has the most pressure because he has 53 years of pressure, and I mean, as Josh Hart probably said it best, he's like, if we win, they're going to burn down the city. If we lose, we're going to burn down the city.
But they're the top seed.
Josh Hart.
I love this interview. It's so damn funny.
So
I think you said it. You said it early. You said it right. You said they're early. They are early. I think most people, much like OKC, you just think that these teams are going to be the teams every year going to the finals. So, when you look at Wembanyama's, if he was injury prone, or you worried about his physical, sustainability or something like that, I think then you would say, well, this is Wemby, 10-year Wemby, and you haven't won. I think then that's the pressure. They're very early. Early, like I said, like how Shaq and Penny were. They were very early also. They were an early team. You just think that these guys are eventually going to be the best players and run the league. Mike Brown, I think Mike Brown has a lot of pressure, the most pressure, but I think also, to his credit, I don't know if it's more pressure than when he had LeBron in the first finals.
True, that's fair.
You know, I think the advantage of him. Yeah, granted, it's still 53 years. This is so crazy when I think about it. It's a lot of pressure still. But I think he's also relishing in this moment too, because I was telling one of my friends who always comments on the page, what up, Rob Bradley? I was talking to him off the ledge earlier about the game. He's excited and nervous also. But, I think what's missing that most people are not thinking about with the Knicks is that this is a very hungry, desperate team. I think they're being treated as if they're the veterans who've won and that they're sitting back and the Spurs are trying to come take their lunch. The Knicks are a starving team, of guys who have been doubted. And I think Wembanyama gave them the greatest respect. He's like, these guys have earned where they've earned to be here. And I think there's not a Knick, including the coach, that doesn't have something to prove as being guys doubted, guys fired, guys exchanged. They're underwhelming. They've been talked about, ridiculed, scrutinized. I mean, Jalen Brunson, Cat, Eric, I've said this before. I said, I bet you the zesty talk stopped if Cat wins MVP. Now, Jalen, all of a sudden, he's not as short if he wins MVP of the finals. Well, the same applies to Mike Brown. All these years of hearing you got fired in Sacramento. You collapsed against LeBron. You weren't coaching and the players weren't listening to you. Matt Barnes came out and said as much as that he sucked. That's basically what you've been hearing if you're Mike Brown. And I just think that he has a lot of pressure, but I think he's probably got a lot of pressure on himself because he has figured out what the Knicks need to do because clearly we have not been here in a long time. But I don't know. He's one of those guys that probably thrives under pressure because I think that he knows that he's hungry enough that I think he's going to make the right decisions to put the Knicks in the best chance of winning. So maybe it's not the kind of pressure we think as a fan base, but I think it's the pressure he probably enjoys knowing that he could possibly kill off a lot of demons if he wins this damn thing.
Yeah, and you can never tell. Like, I'll say that. He has the best poker face. Like, you never could tell how he always seems happy no matter what. Like, he always seems like he's in a good mood. He always seems like he's happy. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting series. All right, let's give our predictions now, and we will end the show. So, Joe, prediction, please. 7?
7. It's going to be a long series, and I'm also predicting home court isn't going to matter a hell of a lot in this series.
Well, yes, if you're saying the Knicks are going to win in 7, yeah, that would work.
No, but
at least in Game 7, it's not going to matter.
Series,
yeah,
I think you're going to see people winning on each other's floor.
All right, Ty, what about you?
Well, it's funny because someone in my house asked me because someone else is a Knicks fan that where my wife works. They go, "Oh, ask your husband what his prediction was." So it's like I'm not going to tell anybody what my prediction is because I'll sound like a complete friggin' homer when I say this. But I'm saying the Knicks in 5.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think that what we're seeing from this team, it's got to be our time. I just think it's talented. Once again, I went back to history, and I'm just thinking about the Orlando versus Houston. We saw another young team. I'm trying to think who it was, but this team reminds me of that Orlando.
Well, the Cavs team. You just brought the Bronze Cavs team the first time.
The Bronze Cavs team. But I do believe that the Orlando team was way more talented because
it was.
They had 2 stars, and they had Nick Anderson. They had Horace Grant at the time too. So they had a bunch of talent around them that you're like, this team can win. But yet they met that veteran team. Same thing you saw with Dallas that year with which this team is a little bit like the Dirk championship team with Dallas who got caught fire.
Veteran team.
Right time. And they went up against 3 studs. Obviously 3 Hall of Famers in Bosh, Wade and LeBron at that time who were juggernauts. And they walked the yard, and I think it was 5 or 6. 6?
It was 5.
6.
It was 6. Okay.
It was 6. So we've seen these stories before of having great talent, great young talent come in. Oh, and another team too. That's the team I was thinking about. OKC earlier with Durant. Westbrook and
Harden.
Harden. They went into the finals against Miami, and they got their butt. I think did they get swept, or was it 5?
I think that might have been 5.
It might have been 5. I'm just saying this experience will matter. Hunger matters. These veteran players that can still play at a very high level, because that's what the Knicks represent. I mean, what I might.
It's a bold take. It's a bold take, but I respect it because I could see it. I could see it happen.
Oh, I could see it. Yeah.
Especially the way they've been playing, I definitely could see it. Like, I'm going to say 6. Knicks in 6. Everyone seems to say.
Yeah, they are.
That's the popular one.
That's the popular one, and just because I think it rhymes, people just like to say it. But, I do think, like I said, they're playing at such a high level, and if they continue to play at this level, yes, the talent is better. San Antonio's better, but the Knicks are playing like up here right now. They're playing at such a high level that to crash down that far, I just don't see it happening. But I respect Wembanyama enough that I do think it's going to be a 6-game series. I just think the Knicks are finally going to win this one, and we will be going to a parade. I know that. So, all right, game starts. Well, the broadcast is supposed to start at 8:30. So 20 minutes from now, the broadcast is supposed to kick off. Tip-off probably won't be until about 20 till 9, whatever.
Probably 9 o'clock. Crap that they do.
But we're going to get out of here, everybody. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for the support, as always. Let's watch the series. Let's be hopeful. Let's cheer. Let's root. All that stuff. This has been a long time coming. And let's hope at the end of it all, we're standing tall. So for Joe and Ty, I'm Eric. You're watching All Knicked Up. See you next time.